But her daughter's attitude was hurtful.
I just thought that they were gifts initially. She's always buying my kids gifts and taking them out.
You're old enough to have 4 children. You're old enough to pay your own rent.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Patricia Riley is suing her daughter, Kristen Lazama, for the cost of 4 laptops, 3 cell phones, and a loan for rent.
Order. All rise. It's case number 27 on the calendar in the matter of Riley versus Lazama.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Riley, the defendant is your daughter, and you claim a series of loans to her that were really to her and her husband.
Yes, to myself.
Your husband's name is George?
Yes.
Where is he?
He's at work.
Tell me when you made these loans and for what purpose, Miss Riley?
Well, it started in February 2018. She needed help with her rent.
February of 2018. That's
Yes.
well over a year ago. And how much was that loan?
That loan with helping with the rent and then purchasing laptops for the kids was $1,030.
Rent, I understand that they're children.
For schoolwork. She asked me if I could help them get some laptops for schoolwork.
And you're their grandmother.
Yeah, I'm their grandmother.
I'm not interested in
Okay.
buying them laptops for school, for your
Okay.
grandchildren. Buy them. 2018, how much did you give her for rent?
$450 for rent in February.
Okay. And when was the next money that you gave her?
I loaned her $100 in April for 3 prepaid telephones so we could keep in touch.
Just a second. So 2 months later, she hadn't paid you back any money.
Yes.
From February, and she wanted phones.
Yes.
So you bought prepaid phones for $100.
Yes.
What's next?
September 2018 was the last loan. They were having some financial difficulties once again, and I helped with utilities and rent and, personal stuff, and that was $1,595.
And you hadn't gotten any money back from February
She's my
of
daughter,
2000.
Your Honor.
Just a second. You hadn't gotten any money back from February of 2018, and you hadn't gotten any money back for the $100 that you laid out for phones, right? And then you helped him out with, as you say, you helped him out with rent and other things and personal things.
Yes, ma'am.
7 months later.
Yes, ma'am.
Having not been paid back anything before.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what mothers do.
Yes, that's what mothers do, but
Right.
they were all stipulated as loans.
I didn't hear anything about a loan. I heard about help me out.
Be a loan, because that's a lot of money to just hand over.
Well, if it was a lot of money, then you wouldn't have given her money 7 months after
She's
she hadn't
my
paid you
daughter.
back. I'm speaking. If it was a loan and she hadn't been a good payer and hadn't paid you back a penny of what you gave her 7 months before, you wouldn't have given her another loan.
But I did, Your Honor. I did give her another loan.
Then I don't think that you had any reasonable expectation of being repaid.
I
That's
was
what a loan
hopeful,
is.
very hopeful.
That's what a loan is. A loan is when you have a reasonable expectation of being repaid. But if you have no reasonable expectation of being repaid, which I haven't heard, because February, $450. Another couple of months later, another $100. 7 months later, another $1,500. And all the while, you haven't gotten paid back a penny from now over a year ago.
That's true.
So you want to tell me what it is that got a bee in your bonnet?
They got
All of a sudden,
All of a
starting
sudden,
from February of 2018, we're now in May of 2019. What's the bee in your bonnet?
Well, we have multiple conversations about getting paid back.
No, I want to know what's the bee in your bonnet now.
Oh, I'm not. I recently was declared disabled, and while I'm waiting for disability, I have no income, and I wanted my daughter to start paying me back so I could have money to live on.
So you asked her if she would...
I asked her if she would please.
Was, and whether it was on the phone or in person.
Well, the last conversation that we had, I was in person, I believe, at her house, her home, and I asked her...
Tell me what month and year.
It was early this year, our last conversation, I believe.
Well, give me the month and year.
April.
Oh, December, I'm sorry, December 2018. 2018, I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous.
And at her home?
Yes.
Well, tell me about the conversation.
I asked her if she could start paying me back because they had both started working, and that I really needed the money and that I was desperate until I got my disability, that I had no income.
And what did she say?
She said, Mom, I really don't have the money, but I'll try.
Okay, and?
And I asked, it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. It's heartbreaking for me to even be here, honestly, because I love my daughter.
So the question is, why are you here?
Because I want her to be responsible for what she says. Because I've always helped her no matter what. And
Who do you
Excuse me.
live with, Miss Riley?
Oh, I live with my boyfriend.
Is that your boyfriend?
That's my son.
Where does he live?
He lives in Sacramento. I live in the North Bay in Petaluma.
What does your boyfriend do?
Right now, he's currently disabled as well.
How long has he been out on disability?
Probably about 8 months.
And how long have you been on disability?
I haven't got it yet, ma'am. It's not approved yet. I'm still waiting.
When did you...
That's some farming. I delivered fuel to the guys in the fields doing hay.
For how long?
I did that for almost a year and a half.
Before that?
Before that, I worked in construction in Merced, California, where my daughter currently lives.
And what's the nature of your disability?
I have peripheral artery disease, and I have bilateral cardiac stenosis, and lungs are affected from the fires that we had up north.
Did you apply for disability?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Were you initially rejected from
Yes.
disability? Did you hire an attorney?
Yes, I did.
And so now you're in the appeals process?
Yes.
How long ago did you apply for disability?
In November, when I first...
November of 2018?
18, yes.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Sure.
The reason this became more difficult for my mom in the early 2019 is because of her medical situation. So I stepped in to help financially, help her get through bills and such. And that's when me and my sister had multiple conversations about paying my mom back. And when you described it being her...
Tell me your last name.
Antner.
Mr. Antner, tell me when you first had a conversation with your sister.
It would have started in late 2018 as well, at some time, when the larger loan took place. That's kind of when my mom's financial situation became a little more difficult, and I was helping my mom out financially. So
What kind of work do you do?
I work for a utility company.
What did your sister...
She just didn't have it at that time, and that conversation repeated itself. So it put a lot of stress on me, ultimately, in trying to help my mom financially, and that's kind of put a strain between the three of us over time.
What about her husband?
I don't have much dialogue with her husband. Never had conversation with him about it before.
Is there a reason for that?
Not necessarily, no.
Him.
He works a lot, and we live in different cities, so my contact is usually with my sister.
Do you get along with your son-in-law?
For the most part, I try to.
Your daughter suggests in her answer to your complaint that the reason you're asking for this money now is because you had some sort of an argument with your son-in-law.
Oh, we've argued on multiple occasions, but I try not to argue with him. I know because it just puts pressure on, you know, my grandkids and the home life, so. But it's not because we argue that I'm asking for this money. I've been asking her for it, for some kind of payment for months. Even $10, $20, anything to help me out. And nothing.
Okay, now I'm ready to hear from you.
I didn't pay her back any of the money or try to make payments because I just thought that they were gifts initially. Because she would come around when she lived in the same town all the time. She's always buying my kids gifts and taking them out.
I'm not talking about gifts.
So,
I'm talking only about rent.
Okay.
How many months' rent did your mother pay for you?
I would say...
No, I don't want your rent.
$450.
Rent, and you have how many children?
4.
4 children. And your husband is the father of all 4 of these children?
He's not the father of any of my children.
He's not the father of any of them?
No.
Do you get child support from any of the fathers?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, you must have picked a bunch of winners.
Well, no, but their dads do help take care of them. Just never had a child support case or custody. I never went to court for it because I don't feel I don't need it.
How do they take care of them?
Well, they see them equally just as much as I do and provide for them whatever they need.
So what you're saying is you share custody with them?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? What do you mean, yes? They're your 4
Well, because
children.
I just recently went to custody with 3 children I have with one, and then my eldest is with another, with somebody else. So for my 3 children, we do have a shared custody agreement that we just recently went to court for.
How often are the 3 children with their father?
Every day. So Monday through Friday, I get my kids after school until about 7 or 8 p.m., and I take them home, and then every other weekend, they spend the night with me.
Let's go a little slower.
Okay, so Monday through
Friday, you see your children after school, which means they sleep with their father.
Yes.
Is that all the time, except for weekends occasionally with you?
Every other weekend, yes.
So the children live with their father?
Yes.
The children, 3 of them, live with their father, and you see them alternate. And how old is the 4th child?
He'll be 17 in July.
And who does he live with?
Me.
Full time?
Yes.
450 times 3 is 1350. Your mother doesn't pay the rent. You have 4 children. You're old enough to have 4 children. You're old enough to pay your own rent. 1350. Did you pay a direct utility bill?
No, I did, but I couldn't find it, the receipt for it, because it was so long going in her name, so.
Can't help you.
Yeah, I figured, yeah.
$1,350.
Okay, Your Honor, that's for the utilities and the rent?
No, that's just for 3 months' rent.
Okay.
And you don't have any utility bills.
No.
She acknowledges that you paid 3 months of her rent. You don't have to do that.
Okay.
You want to buy cell phones for people, laptops for your grandchildren, you can do that if you want to. I'm not interested in that. That's your problem. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,350. We're finished.
Your Honor, what about the, excuse me, I'm sorry, the additional loan that she loaned her at the
Did
end
you
of
understand what I said?
Yes,
I do.
$1,350, which is 3 months' rent. She's old enough to have 4 children. She's old enough to pay her own rent. We're done.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
While he's excused, you may step out.
I'm hoping me and my daughter can start repairing our relationship from here because I love her very much.
like my mom said, I just want to move forward.
I'm not going to be rule free to loan money, but
But I just hope that we can now move forward and better ourselves.
And
Berger versus Berger. Step forward.
Kristen Berger is suing her father, Joe Berger, for her wages being garnished after he failed to pay a court judgment on a vehicle.
Miss Berger, the defendant is your father, and it is your claim that when you were 19, your father bought you a car. He didn't pay it off. I assume that from the case, you and your father were both named on the loan for the car.
correct.
And it's now years later. How old are you now?
27.
And you've gone on, you've finished college. This car was bought when you were in college. Gone on, finished your degrees, working, own a house, put
Yes.
some money in the bank, and all of a sudden, a huge chunk of money was taken out of your bank, over $8,000. And it was for a judgment that had accrued as a result of the car not being paid off. Is your claim that your father purchased the car for you, and it was his responsibility to pay for the car? Your father says that wasn't the deal. He put down the down payment. You were supposed to pay for the car.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
We then got it towed back to my mother's house. It was leaking in her driveway, oil and things. She wanted it removed, so we put it in my aunt's backyard.
And where is it now?
It's still there.
7 years? She must have a big backyard.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Christine Berger failed to pay a court judgment, which resulted in her wages being garnished.
Okay, how many children do you have, Mr. Berger?
I have 2.
How old are they?
My son is, what, 30-something?
What does he do?
33, I think.
What does he do?
He's a security officer.
Where does he live?
He lives in Maryland.
Do you have children?
Yes, he does.
How many?
5.
And your daughter's 27. She finished school. She got a master's.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
She owns her own home. So with regard to her education, she did pretty well.
I'm proud of my daughter.
When she was 19 and she came home for the summer, your wife is not her mother. You and your wife have been married a long time, but that's her stepmother. Who went shopping for the car?
Me and my wife did.
And who found the car?
We both did. We found the car and we actually
You and your wife?
Yes, me and my wife. And we actually took a picture of it, sent it to my daughter, let her see if she liked it or whatever, and she agreed, and we proceeded from there.
And you put down, the car was $6,000 some odd dollars?
I believe so, yes.
And you put down the down payment?
Yes.
And so we're talking about 8 years ago.
Long time, yes.
But the car didn't run well.
No, it didn't.
And you tried to return the car.
Yes, I did.
What happened when you tried to return the car?
They told me that they couldn't give me my money back and that, it'd be a default. I said, okay, that's fine. Because definitely don't want a car that's not running right. You refuse to fix it, so just take the car back. I'll take my loss and cut my losses and be good with it. And they said, no, we don't want that. They refused to do it.
So what did you do?
I just in turn, at that time, I believe...
So what did you do with the car, Mr. Berger? Now, your daughter comes home from college. She can't use the car because the car's not running. It's constantly giving her trouble. As a good parent, you say, I'm not letting my daughter ride around in this car. You try to take it back to the dealer. The dealer said, listen, it's a used car. You bought it as is. We're not taking it back.
Yeah.
That's 8 years ago. So what did you do with the car?
I didn't do anything with the car. My daughter actually had the car for, I think it was basically a whole semester. She drove it.
A semester.
Yeah.
I know, but then she came home for the summer and you tried to return it.
Yes, I didn't do anything with the car. At that point in time, it was, as far as I know, was parked in her auntie's backyard after that time.
Who parked it in her aunt's backyard?
I guess she did. I really don't know.
Who parked it in your aunt's backyard?
The car was towed from Florida by my godfather. It was towed to my mother's house, and from there, his ex-wife was given the vehicle to drive while I went back to school, and it broke down on her, and we had to go and tow it from her house, and we then got it towed back to my mother's house, and we wanted it removed, so we put it in my aunt's backyard.
And where is it now?
It's still there.
7 years?
Yes.
She must have a big backyard.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When did you get a lawyer?
The 23rd.
Is he attempting to negotiate this loan for you?
Yes, he's been attempting to negotiate the loan.
Right. So you don't know how much eventually you're going to have to pay on it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Christine Berger says her father, Joe Berger, failed to pay a court judgment, which resulted in her wages being garnished.
Now, who has the title to the car?
I do.
Can I see it?
Yes.
Mr. Berger, did you give your former wife the car to drive around for a while?
Yes, she drove it probably a month.
I don't care, but she drove it a month. Your daughter had gone back to school?
Yes.
She had gone back to school, and your ex-wife drove it for 1 month before it broke down?
It was still running, Your Honor, at the time.
So how did it get to her mother's house?
That's where it was parked.
Well, I know it was parked there, but
Yes,
your ex-wife was using it.
She used it for about a month until she got her vehicle.
My question to you is, to your daughter's mother's house, was it driven there?
It was driven there. It was parked there. Yes.
Parking and driving it are two different things. Was it driven there or was it towed there?
It was driven there.
By whom?
My ex-wife drove it and parked it there.
Is that correct?
No, it's not. We had to call Geico. That's who I was insured by at the time, and they came to tow the vehicle.
Well, this is the registration. You don't have the title.
No, ma'am. It's a lien on it. They said once, you know, all my monies and everything were processed, that I would receive the title from the lien.
Well, they got your money, according to you.
They did. I have a statement from the bank.
When did they take the money out?
It was on hold April 22nd. By May 6th, they had to respond to them, letting them know how much money I actually had.
Well, how much money do you actually owe?
It's the full $8,400.
Well, that's interest. Did you try to negotiate that amount of judgment with them?
Yes, I did get a lawyer.
Yes, you did. When did you get a lawyer?
The 23rd.
Of what?
April.
What's the lawyer's name?
Craig. I have a copy of my retainer as well.
Is Mr. attempting to negotiate this loan for you?
Yes, he's been attempting to negotiate a loan.
Right. So you don't know how much eventually you're going to have to pay on it?
Yes, the settlement is open. We're going to sign the papers once I return.
That.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. So you don't know how much eventually you're going to have to pay on it?
They settled for $5,000.
I want to see that.
Okay.
Where is it?
On my phone, an email from him, from my lawyer.
I'd like to see it.
It's forwarded from their lawyer to mine.
Okay. So it looks as if for $5,000 you're settling what is owed on the car.
Yes.
Between you and your father, that's $2,500 apiece. And how much is the lawyer getting paid?
I had to give him $1,000.
That means, sir, you're stuck with $3,000. $2,500 for your half of the loan and $500 for the lawyer who negotiated it down. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. We're finished. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Oh, by the way, that check gets made payable to the credit union. We're done.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It is what it is. I mean, nothing I can do about it.
It's been extremely frustrating.
I don't think
Setting that I even had to get to this point.
I hope we can move forward for this. I love my daughter to death. There's nothing's going to change with that.
It's time for me to take care of myself and get my bills taken care of.
Did she build a website for you?
No, ma'am.
Yes, I did. She's lying.
A web designer and client weren't clicking.
It was not published on the internet, period, in
Yes,
discussion.
it was published on the internet. You just needed a password.
You're fighting with each other. I'm going to throw you both out.
And it's not her first reboot.
Did you have another developer prior to hiring the defendant?
I've had several developers.
Right.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Real estate broker Constance Kelly is suing graphic designer Eleanor Phillips for a refund for a business website.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 102 on the calendar in the matter of Kelly versus Phillips.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Ms. Kelly, you hired the defendant to do a website for you. You are a real estate broker. When did you get your license?
I was licensed in 2016, yes, before I got my own broker's license and launched my own company.
Which was when?
I launched my brokerage in August of 2018.
And what's the name of that company?
CKRE Idaho.
Bert, do you have an iPad or some device there?
Yeah.
What's the website? It's CKREIdaho.com.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to look at it. Okay, and when did this website go up?
That website went up about a month ago.
Prior to that, did you have a website? That's a yes or no?
No.
When did you hire the defendant to build a website for you?
The beginning of January.
Of 2019. How much was she charging you to build that website?
$3,600.
And you gave her a deposit?
Yes, ma'am.
Of $1,800?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and that's what you want back?
Correct.
Did she build a website for you?
No, ma'am.
Did you build a website for her?
Yes, I did.
Can you show me what you did?
Yes, I can. These were all the pages before the website was taken down. There is some content that is not exactly finished in there because it was not completed.
Would you take a look and tell me if this is a fair and accurate representation of the work that the defendant and that was up?
So, Your Honor, these are what we call mock-ups. This was never published to my website.
That is wrong.
Just a second. Is what you're telling me that those were never on the internet?
No, ma'am.
That those pages you never used?
Correct.
Okay.
She's lying.
Where did you get those from?
The internet.
When?
I believe that was the day that our dispute happened, which was February 7th.
Now, the dispute occurred because the website was not built so that it could accommodate MLS listings?
Yes, ma'am, you're correct.
Do you have MLS capability now?
I haven't.
That's either a yes or a no.
No.
And the website is up because he just found it.
It's a placeholder while the new website is being developed.
And you do understand that there is now a fee for using MLS services?
No, not for me. Because I'm not a vendor. I don't provide that as a web developer.
Is what you're telling, because this is all about the MLS and whether or not you get your deposit back. So far, she did work. I see she did work, and I don't believe you that it wasn't up on the internet, by the way. I don't believe that. I believe that that's where she got the pictures from.
It was not on the internet, Judge Judy.
Yes, it was, and I even have an email where I sent her her username and password so she could view.
May I see it?
Yes. It's right here. It wasn't ready to be viewed publicly.
She just said the key words, Your Honor. It wasn't ready to be viewed publicly. It was not published on the internet, period.
Yes, it was published on the internet. You just needed a password.
You're fighting with each other. I'm going to throw you both out because I don't have to listen to this. I'm reading something.
Your Honor, this is a red herring. I have a voicemail from Miss Phillips over here saying that she has no problem refunding me my money.
Just a second. I'm reading something. Did you have somebody developing a website for you prior to the defendant?
I had another local...
That's either a yes or a no.
No.
Well, that's not what it says here.
I'm not clear on your question, Your Honor.
My question is very clear. I speak English. I said, did you have another developer prior to hiring the defendant?
I've had several developers.
Right. So the answer is yes. How many?
I would say that I've had 4 websites in the last 4 years. As my company, my business has grown and expanded, the demands of my website have also grown and expanded.
No, that's not what this says. Okay, now you say you have a voice message from her.
Yes, ma'am.
Where she says she is going to refund the deposit that you gave her, which she's opposing in this proceeding. She said she did a lot of work on the website, and she put in hours worth of work.
She didn't. She put up a simple template.
I'm speaking. She said she put in that if you went someplace else, that's up to you. So now I'd like to hear the voicemail.
How to respond to that? If you feel so strongly that I haven't done anything for you, then I will refund your money. And I have no problem doing that because that's the type of person that I am.
If you can tell that I'm taking a breath because she clipped that voicemail, she's not playing the full voicemail in context.
I can play the full voicemail if you'd like, Your Honor.
I would.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to clip audio.
You obviously just did.
Just, if you talk to each other, I'm just going to throw you both out.
Sorry.
Do you understand?
I apologize, Your Honor.
Okay.
Hi, Constance. This is Elle. I just received your...
No, Your Honor, this is 2.5 minutes. Do you want to listen to the full entirety?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Constance. This is Elle. I just received your email, and I'm a little disappointed, but I just want to get some clarification. First of all, I've spent over 22 hours literally working until midnight trying to get your website complete and ready to go. I just want to express that to you because I have put a lot of time into the site to where it is now. And that does not include and making sure that all of that is set up on your end. So I guess my disappointment at this point runs with that you want to pay me $350 for over 22 hours of work. And I'm not really sure how to respond to that. If you feel so strongly that I haven't done anything for you, then I will refund your money. And I have no problem doing that because that's the type of person that I am. But I also want to let you know that if you don't pay me, or at least let me keep the deposit for the work that I have put in, I can't make your site live because I have put in significant...
No. Because I have.
I am. But I also want to let you know that if you don't pay me, or at least let me keep the deposit for the work that I have put in, I can't make your site live because I have put in a significant amount of time. I just told you that I was willing to make your site live and get that up and going and eat the rest of any other costs that I would have charged in order to get the IDX up and running. I never told you I was depending on you for that. It was my assumption that as a realtor, you had access to the MLS. I have mentioned it a couple times that the only requirement that I needed in order to get the MLS working on your website was a username and password. And we both found out at the same time that you're not willing to pay $150 a quarter for that password access. And if you want me to sign up as a vendor and I'll pay $150 a quarter, I will agree to that, but I'm only going to agree to it for 1 year. So I think that's where we're landing, is that I really have put a lot of time into this. So if you could please give me a call back so we can at least talk this out, I would really appreciate it. You can record the phone calls. That is totally fine with me. But I need you to understand that I have put a whole...
That's it, Your Honor.
She was being most reasonable with you, Miss Kelly.
I understand.
She was being most reasonable with you. She said, I will keep the deposit. You don't have to pay me anything else. I will get your website up and running. We both found out at the same time that there is a fee for MLS of $150 a quarter. I will pay that for the first year, which means she was willing to pay $600 in order to... where it says, I will give you back your money.
I was trying not to waste your time, Your Honor.
Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think it was a very fair and just decision. I was willing to just bend over backward for her, and she just didn't care. You should absolutely get paid, and you should fight when you need to.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Knutson versus Beckwith, step forward.
Cleaning service owner Heidi Knutson is suing her former employee, Julie Beckwith, for soliciting clients away from her cleaning company in Hawaii.
This is a contract case. Ms. Knutson, you hired the defendant as an employee with your home cleaning service.
Yes.
What month did you hire her?
That was July of 2018.
And she worked for you until when?
Till April 30th, 2019.
And where was that business?
In Honolulu, Hawaii.
And where did you live?
I lived in Utah at the time.
Had you lived in Hawaii?
Yeah, I was there for 8 years.
So you were running your business long distance?
Yes.
How many employees did you have?
It fluctuated anywhere from 1 to 3.
Did you do home cleaning when you lived there?
I did, yes.
And you had a certain number of clients?
Yes.
So those clients that you had, you turned over to some people first. They didn't work out, and then you hired the defendant to do the same contract with her.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Okay.
So what you have is a contract with her that has a non-interference clause with your business. And it reads, the client list, client information, and client contact information are the property of 808 Cleaning, that's your company, and the employee may not use, service, or solicit said clients outside of the administration of 808 Cleaning. The employee and the employer agree not to publicly defame the other party in the event of termination. Okay, so what happened was she worked for you for about 8 months, and then went out on her own, and I don't know how many, but many of the clients that she was servicing followed her to her new place.
Right.
And so you're suing her for breach of contract.
Yes, but also, I mean, she was very dishonest. She told me she was leaving to start a vacation rental.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
How many of her clients came with you?
3.
3. And 19 or 20 stayed with you?
Yes, that's correct.
And 3 decided to go. It's all that counts here. We're in a court.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Cleaning service owner Heidi Knudsen says former employee Julie Beckwith solicited clients away from her business. Julie is countersuing for unpaid work hours.
Okay, you really have to understand, it's not as if you were the CEO of a large company. You had a personal business. You were moving, and what you did was you hired somebody else to clean, and you took a cut of whatever they... Half, whatever it is. You took half, and in exchange for that, you got the clients, and you got half. That's what the deal was. And the question is, how many of your clients stayed with you?
About 19 or 20. The total of everything she took added up to about $17,000 a year that she took from my business.
You see, you have a contract, but an unsympathetic position.
She was still working for me when she was telling them about her new business.
Well, you don't know that. You don't have a witness here to tell you.
I do know that. I have text messages.
Oh, I'd like to see.
Okay.
If you have text messages that while she was still working for you, she was soliciting these clients to come to work for her, your case is rock solid.
I have a witness also.
Great. You may have number.
A few.
Not a number.
3.
3. And 19 or 20 stayed with you?
Yes, that's correct.
And 3 decided to go with her?
That I know of. Those are the only ones that have proof.
Well, that's all that counts here. We're in a court.
Right.
You understand you're in an unsympathetic position for me. Now show me proof that she was soliciting the 3 clients she took from you while she was working for you. She's not allowed to do that. And that's not what she said she did.
She admitted that she did it, Your Honor.
You said you had text messages. I'd like to see it.
Got a little scrambled. This is the one from actually the client here, Adrian.
I'd like to see it. When did you terminate your business? April 30th?
I gave her a 2-week notice on April 16th, and
4/16.
my last day was the April 30th.
It's dated May 1st.
Yes.
After she left your employment.
However, if you...
I'm going to read it. Okay. It's dated May 1st after she left your employment.
Yes, it is, ma'am.
Okay. This is a very easy... She says, hello, Heidi. I assume that's your first name. She said, I sent this to you on Monday. This is Wednesday. I understand that Julie, so 2 days before she left, but she had given you notice, I understand that Julie is leaving, and we will be getting a new person with your company. So she told them clearly that she was leaving, and a new person would be coming from your company. That's not unreasonable. She said, goodbye, I will not be coming back. You'll be getting a new person from the company. I'd really like to stay with Julie, as she has come to know our home, a dog, and us so well. I hope you understand, and thank you for introducing us. Please accept this as my notification that we'll be ending services with your company effective this week. Again, thank you for supporting our housekeeping needs, and I wish you much success in the future. That's you.
Correct.
What's wrong with that?
It shows that she was telling everybody about her new cleaning business prior to when
No. That's not what this says at all.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I live in Hawaii, and you live in Utah, and I don't want you to pick somebody out because I could pick some stranger out to come and clean my house. I mean, don't you understand the logistics of it?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Cleaning service owner Heidi Knudsen says former employee Julie Beckwith solicited clients away from her business. Julie is countersuing for unpaid work hours.
Okay, I still haven't heard that she breached the contract.
She's servicing the clients that were on my client list.
She can service them. She's not allowed to solicit them. It's a free country. They can say, I live in Hawaii and you live in Utah, and I don't want you to pick somebody out because I could pick some stranger out to come and clean my house. I mean, don't you understand the logistics of it? Are you licensed and bonded?
I am.
Okay. You are Adrian.
Yes.
Last name?
Stofko.
You live in Hawaii?
Correct.
How long had the plaintiff been servicing your home?
I would say it's been at least a year, if not more.
Was the plaintiff the person who came?
No. There was maybe 2 to 3 different people before Julie began cleaning.
And I would like you to tell me the conversation you had with her in April. Must have been in April, sometime in April.
I travel for work quite frequently, so it's often that I need to coordinate the time that someone will be coming to the home. And in case I'm not there, my husband would need to let them in. And so I had asked her what time next week would she be coming, and she let me know at that point she would not be coming anymore because she put in her 2 weeks' notice.
And what did you say to her?
I asked her, are you moving off the island? Where are you going? And she responded and let me know that she was starting her own company. And to that, I asked her if she would be willing to continue cleaning for us because, again, we really had grown to trust her. I leave the house sometimes when she's cleaning. And because we had kind of a consistent that we trusted, I asked her if she'd be willing to continue servicing our home with her new business.
Okay, well, that is somewhat different, actually, than what you wrote in this text. That's a solicitation. That's not saying you will be getting someone from the company to come and service you. And of course, you can have a conversation with her. You can say, can I have your contact information? You probably already had her contact information, so you were free to call her. But what you just testified to is that she said to you, I'm leaving, I'm starting my own company, and that you're not allowed to do, Ms. Beckwith.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
How many clients do you have? 3 that you took from her? How many clients do you have altogether now?
I have about 7.
Okay. How much do you pay her?
I pay her once a week. It's $130, and depending upon if there's extras, it can go up to $170 a week.
And a reasonable period of time for a non-compete, I would say, even, while it's not in here, is a year. And in a year, you pay her at least $5,000 if you're paying her $130 a week.
Correct.
Sometimes more. Well, my limit is 5. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
What about my countersuit?
4?
Overtime hours. She hired me as an employee.
Goodbye.
And paid me as a contractor.
Please excuse me, step up.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I didn't steal her clients. Her clients decided to not continue with her and to go with me.
I couldn't be happier.
So I didn't ask them to follow me. They said that they wanted to do that.
She knew she was being dishonest.
Ready to be done, move on.
I thought it was going the other way, and I'm stoked.
You put down $1,000.
Money was an issue from the start.
We closed on the house in January.
Shh. And her annoyed ex just can't stop.
What part of don't speak unless I'm speaking to you didn't you understand?
I will be quiet.
No, I'm done with you. You could have been tied to him forever.
Right.
You were probably very lucky because I couldn't live with him for 2 seconds.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Ashley Williams is suing her ex-boyfriend, Robert Reynolds Jr., for money owed for the child she miscarried, and assault and harassment.
Order. All rise. It's case number 31 on the calendar in the matter of Williams versus Reynolds.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Williams, you and the defendant were involved in a relationship for a period of time, and you claim he owes you for 2 things.
Yes, ma'am.
The first thing is you lived together for a while in your home, and then Mr. Reynolds was going to buy a home.
Yes.
And under the, I think it was the VA bill,
Yes, ma'am.
he was allowed to buy a home without much of a down payment. He just had to put in earnest money, which was $1,000.
Yes.
And you put down $1,000
Yes,
earnest
ma'am.
money, and then you both moved into the house together.
Yes, ma'am.
In what month and year?
We closed on the house in January.
Of this year?
January 2019.
We?
Shh. And so you moved in February?
Yes.
And you planned on living together?
Yes, we did.
When you closed on the house, you said, we closed on the house. Describe that process to me.
Abraham asked us for a down payment of $1,000, and we paid that, of course, prior, a good faith deposit.
What part of don't speak unless I'm speaking to you didn't you understand?
Yes, ma'am. We were required to put down
$1,000. You put down the $1,000. Then there was a mortgage. You lived there in February.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Where did you live prior to February? In your home?
Sullivan Road, an apartment.
It was just you living?
One-bedroom apartment.
And how long did Mr. Reynolds live with you?
He lived with me approximately 6 months before he moved into the home.
And Mr. Reynolds, is that correct that
No,
you...
ma'am, it is. No, ma'am. No, it's not just.
Just say no.
Yes, ma'am.
How many months did you live
Approximately
with...
1 year. I'm sorry.
How many months did you live with Miss Williams in her apartment prior to moving into the house?
Approximately March to December when I closed on the home in January.
I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to ask you again. How many months did you live with Miss Williams prior to moving out and moving into the home?
Approximately 10 months.
And what were you doing to earn a living in that 10 months?
I'm a disabled veteran.
So you get something from the VA?
And I also work.
What kind of work do you do?
I've been a banquet server, bartender, and a houseman in Atlanta, Georgia since 1999. I work several venues all throughout the city. I work at a temp agency. They send me off. That's where I met her on the job. I apologize,
I'm
Mr.
really
Trustee.
not interested.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize.
So you are a VA, and in addition, you do all kinds of other jobs all around the city. And how did you split the expenses for the 10 months that you lived with her? She paid rent in her apartment. Did you pay half the rent?
Yes, ma'am.
How much was your half of the rent?
Approximately.
Not approximately. Rent is never approximately. Rent is always an exact figure.
$100.
You paid $100 a month.
Yes, ma'am.
And how much was the total rent?
I think it's like $400, something like that. Watch. She's on the government subsidy.
All I want to know is, how much was the rent? If you don't know, say, I don't know. You're allowed to say, I don't know. You're allowed to say, I don't know what the rent was, but I gave her $100.
HUD Bash required her to pay $200 to $400 per month. She was in a HUD Bash home.
$240.
Yes, ma'am.
And you gave her you just said approximately.
I apologize, Judge Judy.
Do you know how much?
She would tell me.
You don't
Listen to me. I tried to get my husband to say this all the time, these 3 words. We've been together 44 years.
Yes, ma'am.
I still, you know, he can recite the DNA code, but he can't say 3 words. You know what the 3 words are?
I don't know.
That's right.
I've watched you all your life. I've watched
That's
you.
right.
I've watched you.
Doesn't know.
Yes, ma'am.
It must, Gene. They'll make up a number, they'll make up a figure, they'll make it up, but they can't use those 3 words. Somehow it's emasculating when you say, I don't know. How many miles is it from here to Pluto? 4,968 approximately. I don't know is the answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go on. How much was your rent in the apartment where you were living?
$240.
And did he give you $100 a month?
Yes.
Good. So he helped you with the rent. Great. Now, you were able to save $1,000.
Yes.
And if you paid $240 in rent, then there must have been some kind of government subsidy of your rent.
Yes, ma'am.
For what?
I was in a program that paid for partial of my rent.
Do you work?
Yes, I'm a banquet server as well.
So you managed to save at least $1,000. You were able to put that down, and there was an understanding that you would be living together in this house. It didn't work out.
Yes,
so you want the $1,000 back.
Yes, ma'am.
Unfortunately, you don't get the $1,000 back because the $1,000 was put down predicated on the fact you thought you were going to live together. You didn't, in fact, live together, but there was no contract that said it was a loan.
Yes, it was a loan. I emailed him and said it was a loan. It was not a
Wait
gift.
just a second. When did you email him and say it was a loan? Before or after? I didn't ask you anything.
Yes, ma'am. Can I please interject something, Judge Judy?
No.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. It's so funny, though.
Here you go.
That's in December. I let you borrow. You sent to him, I let you borrow $1,000. That's ridiculous. You have to have a contract. You have
proof. The receipts,
There's
the
no,
money on.
There's no question that you put down $1,000. The question is, was there a contract between the two of you that at some point, even if you lived together, he was going to return that money? And there was no agreement between the two of you. You have no contract that he was going to return that money, Miss Williams.
All right.
I mean, I read your case, and what I'm telling you is the only thing that has to be returned is an engagement ring. But if you live together and you're planning on living together and it doesn't work out and you put in $1,000 and he paid the mortgage in February and he paid the mortgage in March, you don't get that money back. We don't have a place for that unless there is a contract, unless when you put down the $1,000, you said to him, Mr. Reynolds, this is a loan. I'm putting down the earnest money for the house, but I expect you to pay it back. And if you agree, I will give you the $1,000. And he says to you, I agree to pay you back. I will give change for the $1,000. That has to be a contract. And there was no contract. You unilaterally telling him in a text message 3 months later, I let you borrow $1,000, it's not a contract.
All right.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
The
I
next
have.
part of your lawsuit is that, unfortunately, you became pregnant and lost the baby when you were in your 4th month. You claim that Mr. Reynolds is responsible for half the cost of a headstone because you decided to have a burial for the child that you lost, and you put up a headstone.
Yes.
And that cost you how much?
$800.
In what month did that happen?
November 2018 is when I lost the baby.
And you were still living together at the time?
Yes.
I'd like you to tell me the conversation that you had with him regarding the headstone.
The conversation was, there was $400 that I paid.
No. That's not a conversation.
Okay.
Because not everybody memorializes a miscarriage like that with a headstone.
Yes.
In the 4th month. So I would like you to tell me what was the conversation that you had with Mr. Reynolds regarding his participation in paying for a headstone.
He said that he would pay for the monies that's the headstones due because he's the father.
Well, that's what you say he said. I want you to tell me the whole conversation from the beginning to end.
The beginning to end, he said...
Yeah, look at me.
Look at you. Okay. He's a dad. Yes, he will.
Is that what you said?
No, ma'am. I most certainly did not.
No.
Here's the evidence for the cost and everything that I paid.
It's not a question of what you paid.
Okay.
It's a question of whether Mr. Reynolds agreed to participate in paying for the headstone.
He participated
And I asked
in making the child, so he was the father. No disrespect.
You're not disrespecting me. You're just not understanding me.
Okay.
I asked you to tell me about the conversation. You had a miscarriage. And after you had a miscarriage, you had a conversation with him. I said, not every miscarriage is memorialized with a headstone at that term in a pregnancy.
Yes, it's very...
So I want you to tell me about the conversation that you had with him. You said to him, I want to have a headstone. And he said to you, that's the conversation. I'm going to ask you where you were when you had the conversation, what time of the day. I'm going to ask you questions like that because he said that conversation never took place.
Well, ma'am, I was there. I was at the courthouse. I asked him, I said...
You were at the courthouse?
Yes, I was at the courthouse.
What were you doing in the courthouse?
I went in there to get some paperwork.
What paperwork?
The paperwork that I needed to prove that my son was Alfonso Dawson.
Okay, so you needed to go to the courthouse to get a death certificate?
Yes.
Some sort of a death certificate? Did they give you one?
No, they didn't. I had to go back to the funeral home, yeah.
And then did you get a certificate?
Yes.
Did Miss Courthouse?
No.
Did he go with you back to the funeral home?
Yes.
And was it at the funeral home that the headstone was ordered?
Yes. It was months later. I got a quote for the funeral. We just discussed the burial procedures at the funeral home, Alfonso Dawson.
So there was no payment at the funeral home?
Yes, we paid. I paid $400.
You paid?
Yes.
Did Mr. Reynolds pay anything?
No, ma'am.
So you paid $400 for a burial?
Yes.
And he didn't pay half?
No, ma'am.
And then you bought a stone?
Yes, the stone.
And the stone was $800?
Yes.
So he didn't pay for half the burial. What made you think he was going to pay for half the stone?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
You see the defendant
Yes.
with her little girl.
Yes.
The little girl was crying.
Yes, she's consoling her. I see this pole that's got a cement in the bottom so the wind doesn't knock it over against my car.
Okay, come up here.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ashley Williams says ex-boyfriend Robert Reynolds Jr. owes for a deposit on a home, a headstone, an assault, and harassment. Robert is countersuing. for unpaid rent.
So you paid $400 for a burial?
Yes.
And he didn't pay half. Stone was $800.
Yes.
So he didn't pay for half the burial. What made you think he was going to pay for half the stone?
Person, I was just assuming that he would just go half with me.
Well, that's not something that you do in court, Miss Williams.
Yes, sorry.
Do you understand?
Okay.
So you seem like really a very, very nice lady.
Yes.
And it seems that you were a nice lady, and you were probably very lucky because I couldn't live with him for 2 seconds.
Yes, ma'am. Right.
I couldn't live with him for 2 seconds.
Right.
So a tragedy was averted.
Yes.
You could have been tied to him forever.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, right.
Do you understand?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
could have been tied to...
Right.
Because according to you, things got a little bad. He drinks?
Yes, yes, heavy.
Do you drink?
No.
I sort of know Mr. Reynolds drinks. Do you drink too much, Mr. Reynolds?
I most certainly do not, Your Honor. I always drink a glass of red wine every once in a while for my digestion. My nerves are bad with this young lady, and I have...
Well, you're not living with her for a long time, so how could your nerves be bad? They can't be bad with me.
She constantly lies, disappears, block her phone number.
All right, Mr. Reynolds, I'm done with you, sir. We're done.
I apologize,
And I'm
Judge
ju-
Judy.
just a
Please,
second.
Judge Judy, hear
No,
my case,
listen to
please.
me.
I will be quiet.
I'm done with you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm done with you because your counterclaim is for the rent you say she owes you for the few months that she lived there because she lived in your house and didn't split the mortgage. That's what you want.
Yes, ma'am.
That's good. Goodbye.
I have a
Parties are
case.
excused. You may
Judge Judy,
step out.
please.
We're here today because of because of a loan.
Get in the courtroom, start lying about there's no tombstone, okay?
We're here for
She never purchased one, okay?
just pain and suffering that I had to go through.
That is not my child. I'm certain, and I wanted the DNA.
The child is his, yes.
Boom, that's right.
Don't deal with no good men, no good guys, yes.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Page versus Jackson. Step forward.
Shalitha Page is suing Brandy Jackson for car repair bills after Brandy's daughter knocked over a parking sign, damaging her vehicle.
Miss Page, it is your claim that the defendant's little girl, that's this little girl here, is responsible for damage to your car.
Yes.
So I'd like you to tell me when that happened, where it happened, and how it happened.
On February 13th, I had pulled up to pick my girls up from the Boys and Girls Club, and I had pulled up in front. My girls were on their way out, and I hear this loud boom. I didn't realize if it was my system or...
I don't care what you heard a boom.
I heard a boom, and so I'm just looking around because I didn't see them, but I hear someone honking, and at that point, I knew that I need to get out of my car, and so I got out of my car, and when
you say you heard a boom, you know if something hits your car. Did you feel something hit your car?
I have a system in my car.
What?
I have a system in my, and it was, so
That's
I was just
annoying.
like, I didn't know what happened. So when I heard the person honking their car, I knew at that point I needed to get out of my car. So I put my car in park. I got out and came around, and I saw these two in the back corner of my car. Her daughter was crying hysterically. She's trying to comfort her, tell my kids to get in the car, and I'm like, I see the sign.
Just a second.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The intervening act that caused damage to her car was the fact that you didn't have control of your daughter.
But she wasn't supposed to be parked there in the first place, Your Honor.
Now, do you have any other argument that you want to make? I just made it very fast.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Shalitha Page claims Brandy Jackson's daughter knocked over a parking sign, damaging her car.
You see the defendant
Yes.
with her little girl.
Yes.
Her little girl was crying.
Yes.
I want you to take step by step. So you see her little girl is crying, and?
She's consoling her. I see this pole that's got a cement in the bottom so the wind doesn't knock it over against my car. And after I tell my kids to get in the car.
So your children came out
Yes.
of the Boys and Girls Club.
Two of
You
them.
tell them to get into the car, leaning against your car.
Yes.
Okay. Come up here. Tell me your name.
Sydney.
You remember what happened with the lady's car?
Uh-huh.
Do you go to the Boys and Girls Club?
Not anymore, it's closed.
But did you go for a time?
Uh-huh.
And tell me what happened with the pole and the lady's car.
Me and my mom were walking outside, and I grabbed a hold of the pole, and it fell over.
And it fell over. You didn't mean to do that.
Mm-mm.
No, of course not. Okay, go and sit down. You're a very pretty little girl and very smart. Terrific. So was there a scratch on your car?
Several.
I'd like to see a picture of it.
These are just so you can see what kind of car I have, but there's that. And then here's the actual pole and the damage.
Okay, can I see an estimate for the damage,
Yes.
please? Okay. If anything, make it brief because you're responsible for her damage. $452 is what it's going to cost. You have an adorable little girl who told me that she grabbed hold of this pole.
Yeah.
Whether she grabbed hold of it or she was trying to stand on it, she's your responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
She's a child. You have to watch her.
Yes, ma'am.
If because of her actions, the plaintiff's car did not fly into the pole,
No.
there was an intervening act. And that intervening act was the fact that you didn't have control of your daughter. So if you're going to tell me that she wasn't supposed to be parked there because it's no parking, that's not the reason that her car was damaged.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, the reason her car was damaged was because you weren't in control of your child. That's the reason. And it says no standing, no drop-off, no pickup. That's not the reason her car was damaged. So I don't want to hear that. So forget that argument.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the arguments. Your car should not have been parked there. And your second argument in your defense was sue the city, not me, because they should not have put the sign up there. And if the sign wasn't there, then your daughter wouldn't have been able to topple it over into the plaintiff's car.
Right.
Both of those arguments fail. Now, do you fast?
Okay.
Those were the two you made in your
Yeah,
defense.
I'd like for you to see these. This is what the sign is in.
I know
which
what the
makes me
sign
think
is in. I see it.
This happened before.
No, that's
Just a second. So now it's happened before.
I'm just assuming by the judge, by
It
the
doesn't
looks
matter.
of the bucket.
It doesn't matter. The intervening act that caused damage to her car was the fact that you didn't have control of your daughter.
Right,
Your
she
daughter?
wasn't supposed to be parked there in the first place, Your Honor.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $452. We're finished.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I witnessed someone parked in the wrong place, and my daughter's a 6-year-old girl, so.
Her daughter's reckless. I mean, she's a wild child.
I was walking just a step ahead of my daughter. We were holding hands, and she grabbed the pole whenever I wasn't.
Good kid, but a wild child, and so.
I wasn't watching her.
She just knows she